Good evening, friends, and welcome to this evening. So when we are preparing for today's evening, the first question is what really makes a global leader? So discussing with the team, we came up with a definition from the Corporate Leadership Council. They define a global leader as the one who has strategic P&L and operational responsibilities across more than one country. Clearly, a global leader, and we will see it this evening, is much, much more than that. A global leader is the one who can think business beyond his and her geography. A global leader is the one who considers the world as its operating ecosystem in terms of customers, employees, and investors. Ever since Marco Polo led his team to Katai, today China, to confront the Kublai Khan, grandson of the Genghis, global businesses, and most importantly, the talent to conduct it, has become increasingly important for corporate growth. Infrastructure, logistics, information technology has accelerated globalization, and still executives leading these global efforts confront many of the very, very similar development and management challenges that Marco Polo faced 800 years back. Hence, global leadership is particularly an important theme. BIMTech, Aon Hewitt, and People Matters have come together once again for the second year on a wonderful partnership in bringing all of us an evening to discover this fascinating conversation together. This evening, we have created a program that will help us reflect and find collective answers on how to build global leaders. I hope you will find it as enriching as we found it to put it together. Before we proceed to invite Dr. Chaturvedi, Director BIMTech, for his opening remarks, I would like to share some interesting thoughts. While preparing for this evening, I wrote to 20-odd of my friends, some clients, CEOs and heads of HR, to ask them, what are the traits, in your view, that define a global leader? Although we received answers from all over the world, different sectors, different industries, it was really interesting that the answers were very, very similar. And I'm going to read to you the common traits that this little exercise came. The traits of a global leader, as combined by these answers, was integrity, humility, ethics, transparency, respect, flexibility, collaboration. I find this to be a very interesting list because this is not what you would have normally found maybe 5 years back. One would have expected that companies would have really looked at their global leaders to focus on strategic thinking, decision-making, excellence in execution, accountability to results, and so on. While clearly those are still important, I think the pendulum has swung not only in terms of purely results, but also about how those results are achieved. So what does it mean to us? It means that the third strategic objective has been added, especially as HR professionals. It's not only about finding, hiring, and growing extremely talented people. It's not only about investing in building a corporate culture. Increasingly, it will be more and more about shifting leadership styles towards values, ethics, and integrity, and that will be the cornerstone for the successful global leader. So looking forward to a fascinating session.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a matter of great pleasure that in this HR Roundtable presented by BIMTech in association with People Matters and Aon Hewitt, we have amidst us some of the leading thought leaders from the Indian business and academia who have been actively engaged in nurturing and developing leaders. Their views and experiences in today's HR Roundtable will be extremely relevant since they represent a wide spectrum of leadership in diverse areas. On behalf of BIMTech, I have great pleasure in welcoming the distinguished panelists in the HR Roundtable and all those stalwarts of the industry who are part of today's deliberations. The speakers roster in today's HR Roundtable includes some of the heavyweights of the Indian industry and also consulting world. They are known in the industry for their dedicated practice. I welcome them as distinguished speakers in the roundtable and request you to welcome them with a big applause. In today's roundtable, we are going to discuss how to develop global leaders who can lead businesses during uncertain times. The topic is relevant for all stakeholders of business, including society, and particularly those who are responsible for leadership development. As you know, currently the global economy is passing through one of the toughest phases. The Eurozone crisis is deepening. Recovery of the US economy is not very impressive, and there has been a lot of political turmoils in the Middle Eastern countries. Thought leaders have already commenced questioning the fundamentals of the economic theories being pursued across the globe. Issues related to sustainability are taking center stage in strategy, and business models are being continuously recrafted across corporations and geographies. All these interrelated and multifaceted issues are rapidly altering the fabric of businesses on almost like a daily basis. Indian business cannot and is not immune to these factors. In spite of long-term projections and fundamentals of Indian economy being strong, we are also feeling the pinch of the global recession, and all talk of development is way off the mark. Now, I am all ears to listen in on the great exchange of views which is scheduled to follow. Thank you very much indeed for coming and joining this endeavor of BIMTech, People's Matter, and UVIT. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to start with, we're talking about uncertain times. Uncertain times, the entire world looks at India and China for growth. And I'm going to start with one story about China and two stories about India. The one about China is last month I was in Beijing, and I was doing a client roundtable. And in that roundtable, I had asked each of the 13 people who were participating to share with me two top challenges that they were facing given the current scenario. And 90% of the people actually pointed out two key things. And one was, how are we going to develop leaders in an accelerated manner? Because even if there is a downturn that the entire globe is seeing, we are going to keep growing. That's what the Chinese people were saying. And so how do we develop our leaders in a very fast manner? And second, how are we going to make these leaders global, really global? And 90% of the people there, almost 11 or 12 out of 13, had that key concern as to how can we make our leaders, our future leaders, really global in the way they look at things. And so, and therefore, uncertain times, global leaders in China was coming through. I was actually on Friday with a very senior person from Indian industry. I can't take his name. He's on 8 or 9 boards. He's a director on 8 or 9 boards in the country, a very senior professional. And I asked him about how do you see the economy, and he said, look, I actually believe that the state in which corporate India is today is partially to blame, the government is partially to blame for that, and policy is not the only reason. A lot of it is that in the good times, the companies that they didn't do right is the reason where we are. And that was very interesting take by a very senior, seasoned professional who's been in the industry for over 30 years. The second one that, the second story from India that comes to my mind is when I was doing this Top Company for Leaders interviews. So we do this study, Top Company for Leaders, every 18 months. We do it across the globe, in Asia and in India. And very, very thorough study to see how companies are developing leaders in their organizations. And for that, I went and met Chanda Kochhar, chairperson for ICICI. And I had asked her as to, in the context of this whole downturn, what is it that is very important characteristics that leaders need to have in India today? And what she mentioned was that one of the key competencies that needs to be there is the entire connecting the dot across the globe. So what is it that is happening in whether Italy or Greece or US? How is it that going to impact my business wherever I am in times to come? And that kind of global mindset becomes very important. So that, therefore, I think this topic of building global leaders in these uncertain times is very, very pertinent. Having said that, my final thoughts on this. One is what companies and what top companies are asking as a question to themselves, and I think each one of us in this room, including us, need to ask that question to ourselves, which is, are our best the world's best? In this completely integrated, interconnected global world, is our best the world's best? And second, given that we are in uncertain times, this situation is not about right-sizing the talent, but it's really about right-sizing your talent. Thank you.
So firstly, thanks a lot. I think this is a very distinguished panel and it'll be a very exciting discussion ahead for us. A lot of times in corporate world, we start following templates and planning templates and ways of taking decisions in such a way that we lose that ability. You know, that's the time that it takes the ball to reach Sachin Tendulkar when he's batting, when I just snapped my finger. If I and Sachin Tendulkar both knew that this is exactly where the ball is going to come, and be ready in that way, perhaps, you know, I'll be able to achieve 20% of what he has achieved. If exactly I'm told this is where the ball is going to pitch, this is how it is going to swing, or this is how it is going to come at you. His ability is because he's able to think right there and execute the shot, and that makes him what he is today. So with that context, uncertainty, I think is the word that is there in the theme of the day today. And I wanted to get some perspectives from the panel, especially with what has happened, say, in the last 6 odd months in the Indian economy and the business world. What is really changing? What is this uncertainty about? And what kind of skills and competencies you think are going to make leaders more successful in this uncertain situation that we are faced with today? And if I may just get some quick perspectives from all the panelists on this, and Rajesh, if you mind starting us off.
Sure. Thanks a lot. I think from my perspective, and fortunately, I come from the consulting world as much as I come from the industry, so I've seen both sides. And I've seen Indian companies as well as the ones that are matrixed across the globe. I think today the key is to understand how are you connected with the rest of the world, which means that if today I am in the Indian economy, my line of business is going to get affected irrespective of whether I'm in India, or whether I'm in Southeast Asia, or I'm in Europe, or I'm in the US. Now, I think that connectivity, I think, forms the basis. So all this uncertainty that we talk about is actually upswings in the economy that we are facing. My sense is anybody who is global would be able to do a kind of a analysis, a correlation regression kind of thing, to understand that, okay, this is something that happened in Europe, this is how it's going to impact me sitting in India. If you're able to do that, you're truly global in your thinking.
Dr. Singh?
Well, I think that I'm extremely happy that we are contextualizing. So the point that you made, it indicates the power of contextualization. And thousand years back, Buddha made a similar kind of a statement. Strategies don't have any meaning, and so are the words. It's a context that provides the meaning to the strategy, actions, whatever you want to see. I think that I would not like to go about contextualization in terms of the globe, because I know that Rajesh has made a very powerful point, and my colleagues are also going to make very powerful points. I would like to make only one point. What is the business world today? We will not talk about 6 months. I will again come about 6 months after some time, but what is the business world today? Business world is no more a business. It's a war. That's why if someone comes and tells me, I am a marketing manager, I say that you are wrongly defining your role. You are a marketing warriors. If someone says that I'm a finance manager, I say, oh, you don't understand the word. So I think that today we require warriors. The whole world has become a war. It's the rule of jungle. So I see Darwinian naked dance. I'm using the word not only Darwinian theory, but I am talking about Darwinian naked dance, where a tiger thinks about his survival for today and turns to run faster than the deer. And so does the deer. Those who can run faster than others, they will survive. Those who don't run faster than the others, they will die down. And I would also like to make one point here. Let us try to see what great Indian leaders have done. I am sick of hearing all the foreign leaders. When I see about 6, 7, about 9, 10 Indian leaders, whatever they have done, it's a high time the world should learn something from India. So that's why when Ajay was making his presentation, I did not see any leader coming from India, so I was asking a question. How long we shall go on imitating America? How long we shall go on imitating Europe? Europe has collapsed. America has collapsed. If there has been such great leadership in Europe and America, they could not have collapsed. Why they have collapsed? At least India hasn't collapsed so far. Because 5% growth rate is not a bad growth rate. I'm not talking as the government spokesperson to justify that what is happening. But what I'm trying to say that how long we are going to be followers. Coming back to India, I think that 6 months things have really changed, drastically changed, but we should talk later on. Let other persons talk about so how the globe is appearing. That's how I see some kind of contextualization, and maybe when we talk about what kind of competency, that can be the second part, and what kind of leadership can be built, that's important.
Well, that's very well
Thank
put,
you.
sir. Thank you. Mr. Bhattacharya.
Yeah. I have a natural advantage that I work for an organization which is already a global leader. So whatever practice we are doing, and many of this what Dr. Pritam Singh said about bringing Indian management at our workplace. So that perhaps I would like to share a few things. That when we are talking in terms of leadership and the crisis of leadership, a few things perhaps we have forgotten. That if you see a true leader, we have the Indian models of servant leadership. Nobody talks about today. So these are some of the Indian models which talks about a holistic education. Mr. Ajay talked about mindset. I don't think there is any Western model which has spoken about how to have a higher mindset level. Only perhaps Indian models are having, bringing people, he was continuously talking about culture, development of the mindset. I was only realizing that this is perhaps the hard fact today, that unless and until we know how to develop this kind of mindset of the people, which is an exercise by itself, we just cannot talk about intellectual learning.
Right.
So unless and until you connect the mindset of the people with the organization,
Right.
I don't think this problem can never resolve. The whole Western world has failed. I think time has come for India to go back to our ancient tradition, the wisdom, and must develop the wisdom leadership. Lord
Right.
Krishna is the wisdom leader. Whatever he did, all for others. So why not we have the leadership model of Mahatma Gandhi, and in this forum we talk about it. But
Very well
unfortunately
put,
we don't
very well
discuss
put.
about it.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Bhattacharya. Sir, your perspectives, please.
Well, thank you, Sushant. I think let's kind of start from the first things first. The whole discussion around global leadership and in uncertain times. Now, let's start with the premise as to what is global leadership and what is this thing called uncertainty and how is it impacting the business today. Well, I go back to 10, 12 years, a lot of things have happened in the last 10 to 12 years, and I feel that too much of history has happened in too short a time. It all started in 1998 when you see globalization is the business driver and the technology driver is the Y2K bug. There is intense interactivity and there is overkill of technology being generated, and we had this technology called the internet, which was a global tool to communicate. And it really made the global world possible in terms of economy, in terms of commerce, in terms of business. Business prudence and the canons of financial commercial propriety all grew from a global perspective then onwards. But that was not even enough because people wanted their resources also to be managed globally. And came the ERPs, the PeopleSoft, the JD Edwards, the SAP, which are still state-of-the-art technologies. It followed with virtual organizations, and in response, in fact, people started creating what was called, and support the BPOs, the KPOs. There was a dot-com boom and the dot-com burst. It all followed. Too much of it happened in too short a time. Till the Lehman Brothers occurred, when there was total, insanity. There was no capability on our part to differentiate between what was prime and subprime, and the whole world suffered thereafter. But then there was something which was construed to have happened the way it happened. Probably we failed to see that by 2008, the business driver itself had changed.
Right.
And what we talk about uncertainty today, its basic premise lies in the fact that today, the business driver itself has changed to being continual change itself. Globalization is just a hygiene stuff. What is it? If you are there, fine. If you're not, you don't have much to lose, because as Ajay had beautifully put in, there could be a concept of global mindset but working locally. And India and China, and when we talk about the demise of the Western curve or India-China curve in the Western parlance, this thing becomes quite a great reality. But that's besides the point. Sure. What created continual change, what it is? Because of this intense relationship between technology and business, what's happening that parameters are changing not sequentially anymore but simultaneously. Yeah. The magnitude of the change and the complexity of their change is absolutely disruptive and unmanageable. So I think if we talk around the competencies of agility, agility of systems, processes, methods, as well as people who are dynamic, to the extent that they can manage this change, be comfortable with it. Because otherwise, sustainability and forget about prosperity, even survival would become an issue. So leadership and the global leadership has to have that global stealth, which is in fact unique in these kinds of environment of changing dynamic environment. Mr. Badara.
I think Rajiv has covered in a very detailed manner, and I personally feel I divide the entire 60 years into two segments. First 50 years and then last 10 years, if I really look at. I think first 50 years were more of a push mode, where we can preempt, we can see the market, we can forecast, we can sit in the boardrooms and can plan for 5 to 7 years as a vision. But today, the contrast, if you look at the global economy and the liberalization, has put us a lot of risk as well as given us the opportunity, which pushed us so many changes in technology and the speed of information. I think the speed of information which has happened in the last 10 years has surpassed last 50 years. And these kind of changes putting us under enormous amount of pressure. Everywhere I'm getting impacted with the global economy. And the change is so fast, either I have the drivers has changed completely. If I look at the drivers are only 3 now. Agility and adaptation, which Rajiv has talked about. Renewability, how much I have been able to renew myself, and that's more of a short term to medium term.
Right.
And the sustainability, which is more of a long term, which I said 1 year perspective.
Beautiful.
I think these are the things which is happening, and we need to gear up ourselves. And the need of today's leader is to think global, talk about more multicultural, talk about more adaptation, talk about more people-centric, wherein we focus on important areas.
If the audience here has managed to get some thoughts and ideas about what kind of change is really required and some introspection, it gives food for thought for that. And certainly I think that is a brilliant idea that we should take some of this forward into more actionable plans in future sessions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the panel.